Hey guys, Christian here. Let's see, today is another week, and I want to talk to you guys today about what basically I've been going through the past week and thinking about with my wife and everything. Um, it was like a week ago. She came up to me and she was upset. She was frustrated because she feels like we spent all this time investing into, from her perspective, is just a potential pipe dream. That's a good way of putting it. Um, and she wanted to vent some of that frustration, and I get that, and I've been there myself. um, I am not there now, and I want to explain why. It's because I stay in the Word, and I think that something that, if you are hearing from God and you're trying to walk out anything that you're trying to move in your life, you need to stay in the Word. And if you don't, if you cut yourself off from the branch, I mean, if you're the branch and you cut yourself off from the tree itself, you're going to wither and die, right? And the Word tells us that. So, staying in the Word is very, very important. Years ago, I was at a church sermon. I heard this pastor, and he was talking, and he's giving this lesson. He says, I have a prophetic word for somebody out there. He doesn't say who it is. He just says that, and then he says that he sees that someone needs to tie themselves to the Word of God, right? He says, this is the way I see it. I see it as there's a sword and it's stuck in the ground, and you need to lash yourself to it, right? As soon as he described that, I was like, yeah, that's me. I felt like that was me, and it might have been for other people as well in the church, and he might have meant it for someone in particular. I don't know, but for me, I heard that and I took it to heart. Is that's what I needed to do, especially with at that early stage when I was hearing this from this man. I had just heard about the lottery. Guy was telling me about he's going to give that, right, to me and to the church, and I was like, man, that's pretty hard for me to believe at that time. It was really, really hard, but I I stuck with it, and I lashed myself to the Word of God, and I've made it this habit to just spend a lot of time in the Word. And I want to encourage you to do the exact same thing, because if you cut yourself off from that, like I said, you're going to wither and die. So don't do that. Now, in the situation with my wife, when she came to me and she asked me those questions, like I said, I wanted her to be able to vent, but I didn't want to give place to the enemy to just say whatever he wanted to say, right? We need to make sure that our words line up with the Word of God, that we're not just going off because we're upset or frustrated or whatever, right? And so I let her speak her mind, but then I got into the Word and started reading it, and I ran across this section where it says that there is a season to uh, sowing, and a season to plowing. We don't plow for eternity, right? So whenever you are thinking of your situation you're in now, and you're sowing into righteousness, you're trusting God for this miracle or this blessing that He's going to bestow upon you, there's two things to think about. One is that it's only for a season, and you will eventually come to the other side of it. The devil can't stop that as long as you don't give up and quit, right? So the other thing is that it's only for a season, in that you only have a certain amount of time to take advantage of that season, okay? So you want to sow as much as you possibly can, and that's the real reason why the enemy is trying to stop you, why he's standing there trying to convince you that it's never going to happen, to give up, and to get you disheartened, because he knows that if he doesn't provide that resistance, that you're going to sow far, far more, and you're going to reap far, far more, right? So I just want to encourage you today, if you're in a situation where the enemy's attacking you in that area, just stick in the Word and trust God. He doesn't lie. Remember, just as certain as it is that the wicked will reap a reward, it is just as certain that the righteous will reap a reward. And I remember as a kid, there was always people telling me, don't get into this trouble, or don't do that, don't do this, because they're, bad consequences. And I remember looking at the situation as a kid thinking, it doesn't look that bad to me. It's like a lot of fun. I'm going to go do it. And the whirlwind that I reaped, or yeah, I guess that's right. Anyway, obviously there are repercussions, or there are fruits to our whatever we sow, right? We reap. And so I just wanted to share that with you today to encourage you to stay strong and believe and stay in the Word. It's where your strength comes from, and that's something my wife had lapsed in, and it's easy to. That's the first step that the devil comes in. And he says, "Hey, if I get you to stop listening to God, then I can get you thinking about what I want you thinking about. So don't do that, okay? Just want to share it with you. God bless. Take care. Feel free to comment below if you have anything to add or share, and I will see you in the next one."